Welcome back to the Cactus Cave. It's a week on since we've got the tyres on and be able to have a little look at the bike and see how it sort of sits down on the ground. So it's time to start working the way through the... I mean, the to-do list is smaller, but there's still a fair bit to go. So I've been doing like odds and sod jobs, because basically I've had to order in a load of little tiny things like washers, bolts for the foot pegs, split pins, loads like little odds and sods, which I've decided I can get them cheaper in bulk off eBay or online. So I've ordered bits in, and whilst I've been waiting for those sort of bits to come in and be able to film a video, I've gone through the bike and torqued everything down. It's been a bit of a guessing game, because this is all I get torque setting wise from my Spanish manual. There's engine mount bolts, steering stem bolts, spark plug and wheel axles. Anything else is just got these general torque specifications, so you kind of got to work it all out. But I'm pretty confident everything's okay now. But I can monitor all that. I've set the steering head bearings, so they're good now. So the bike is kind of pretty solid as it is. So it's just, yeah, little odds and sods that I wanted to get done. One of the first things, I kind of had to stop and take stock and kind of plan out what I needed to do, because you get at this stage and there's loads of different little things, you know. It's like, right, should I be looking at carb jetting? So I'll go off one way looking at different carb jetting and trying to research that, and then I'm thinking, right, how am I going to make the side mount? What brake light am I going to use? Right, the foot pegs, I need to finish working out the assembly of those. Now I'm going to mount it all together. Light, speeder. You know, you start going, there's lots of different ways you can go off, so I've had to kind of go, sit down, let's do this methodically. So we're going to start off today with trying to get as much of the foot peg assembly, which will then hopefully lead on to the rear brake done, and then by common sense I shall do the front brake, get the cable on for that, and just, yeah, slowly start getting those pieces together. That's mainly some of the bits I've been waiting for. The bolts for the foot pegs were an M12 fine pitch, the 1.25, so I didn't have any of those, so I've ordered in two of the high tensile with the shank bit there, so they're in, so the foot pegs can go on. I then had to drill out the hangers. I drilled them originally for the stump peg idea, they were M10, so I've had to go up to an M12 for those, so I've drilled those out, resprayed and repainted the inside just where the metal was exposed so that won't rust. Wait for that to dry. I've got bags and bags of split pins. There's loads of different like little like the castle nuts that need a split pin going on, so they're on. I needed to get particular size washers as well that I wanted for the foot peg assemblies, just to neaten all them up and get all my spacing right. So I had to search around a bit to get the ones I wanted, but they're here now. And the other thing is, yeah, start going through the cables. I've roughly put the brake cable on. This is the first time since I took all the cabling off the bike that I've actually cleaned up and looked at them. And the clutch cable, I've had to order a new one. I really gave it a really deep clean the inside of it out, flushing all any crap out, because I mean it was in a real... I mean, the gunk, the rust, the crap, everything in that was horrible. I've been lubing it, leaving it for days, soaking, and it's horrible. It really, every time you move, I mean, you've almost got to clamp the cable and pull it with pliers to get the cable to move, no matter how much freeing up I'm doing. And I've left that for 2 or 3 days, and it's not improving. And you're £7 for new clutch cable. I did try one of my old, I had a spare Thruxton clutch cable. I sort of just in case that would fit, it didn't, so I've had to bite the bullet and put an extra £7 away for a clutch cable. But yeah, can't be bothered messing. I'm looking at it down on the ground now, can't be bothered messing with that anymore. I think it's knackered. So I guess we should get stuck in. We'll start with the old foot peg assemblies and see where we go from there, see what they look like. Right, so the foot peg hangers, they're nice and dry now. Well, it was only the inside of that hole that I had to paint, because the rest they've been powder coated, but they're drilled out to the right size, because those, as I mentioned, were M12 fine pitch thread. So I've got some high tensile bolts which they'll all go in and fit together. I've got a couple of different size washers which will go over there, and some dome head Allen bolts as well to attach them all. So I'm just going to work out how many spaces, what kind of spacings out I need. Just kind of, yeah, just mock them up really and have a look, and then whack them on the bike. Bit of thread lock I think for safety, I think, on the threads, but we should be laughing. Okay, so there we go, nothing too dramatic, but the foot pegs are on. Uber beef, I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. Little dab of thread lock on there as well. So yeah, just a small thing, but I do think they look a lot nicer than the stock item. Gives it that extra little bit of something different being done to it. So we'll get those on the bike. Now I have just had to reassess my chocking up arrangements. I did have the blocks of wood underneath this point here, and then an axle stand just holding the front up, but I need to leave all this area free because obviously the footrests are going to come down lower, and on the other side of course you've got the brake and all the brake linkage and stuff like that, so I need this space open. So we've just done a little paddock stand type arrangement with the axle stands and the big wood. I have still got the centre stand, which I don't want to put on the finished bike as such, but I mean whoever gets it, if this sells, I'll throw that in just in case for ease of maintenance they want to put one on. But I didn't want to put it on now and put everything on, because the way the brake lever fits on, you need the pin to go through the frame, through the centre stand and out through that, so once it's all together you'd have to dismantle it to take that off, which too much faffing. Anyway, let's get these foot pegs on here. So there we are, foot peg on. Little bit of, well, I say faffing, it's not really faffing, it was just working out what arrangement of washers and spaces to use, because the original, like there's these rubbers that obviously they mount onto the pegs that are on the frame, and these were so badly perished and just cracked and falling apart, I had to cut the end bits off, so you lose a bit of distance. So I've just had to pack them a little bit on the back, so you got the rubber there, then two washers, and then the two washers here, just so it can all bolt on nice and snugly and securely and not go anywhere. So quite nice, I think. All seems to fit and work, so do the other side and have a sit on it, see what it feels like. Right then, there we go, they're on. Pegs are on, nice and solid. That's what they look like from above. Feels quite nice. Oh, I've got that one dirty already, look. Yeah, it feels nice, nice riding position actually. I usually ride on the balls with my feet, so I'll be back there. So yeah, lovely job. Quite happy with that. I think they look all right. So that's that sorted. So now let's probably get the old rear brake on, I reckon, and have a look at that. But oh yeah, just before we move on to that, we'll have a little mention. This is the tentatively working out the side mount here, which is where I think that's going to go. Quite where I'm going to trim this and work out for the brake light. As you might remember, I did have where is it now? Is it there? I had this one as a possible contender for a brake light. It is E-marked and it is pretty bright, but the only downside for over here, there's no number plate lights. I could then put number plate light bolts in there. That's more wiring and more faffing. So I was humming and hawing. As you know, I was quite keen on where have I put it? This one. But as I started looking at it, I've got some spare of white LEDs, so I was going to replace those anyway, because I used to use those in guitar effects pedals and stuff. I haven't got as many parts in my parts bin as I used to do, I noticed this dioode completely cracked as well, and I can't even work out what the value is of that one. So I don't know. To be honest, it's just turning into too much faffing around for what was essentially what, £5 light. So I've ordered a different light. I had a little bit of a look last night, and that's that I think is going to work. Just a very plain, simple, unobtrusive light that comes with the number plate bracket as well. So when that comes, I'll be figuring out how all this is going to bolt together and get wired in. So that should be with us before the end of the week, hopefully. So we might have an electricery day. I have the brake pedal on. Not really much point in filming that. It's just literally, you can see that's where the centre stand would have gone, but just a pin through there holds it in place there. A little washer and a split pin hold it there, and yeah, then just the springs for the brake light switch and the return spring there. The one thing I did faff around with, this was just like a rusty old hex bolt, so I've put a nice stainless Allen bolt on there, a new nut, and as you can see, this is the adjustment for your brake pedal height. So that's like, you know, the stop. Now normally that's just a bolt going bang onto the powder coat of the frame, which I think is a bit crap. So what I've done is stuck that is actually a, if you have a carb model Bonneville and you have the air injection kit, it's one of the little nipples you put on the carbs. But obviously I had EFI, so I had a set of spare nipples, and that has fit the bill nicely, so it's not quite so chunky and it's not going to bash through the powder coat with any luck. So a little improvement there as well. So we're getting there. Now I just have to get all the bits and bobs together for the linkages, and then set the front and rear brakes. I've got the front brake cable in place. That's been all nicely cleaned up and lubed, so I better start digging through the bits and get those set up. So we have front breakage, relatively simple setup, but took a little bit of fine fiddling just to get the get it set right, and but yeah, I think it's okay. And it's been quite a while since I've ever worked on drum brakes. I think the last time was about 14 years ago on my Kawasaki LTD, but if I can remember, I think you should be looking for just setting it to the point of where there's a little bit of drag, and then so possibly touch too much drag there. Maybe I need to just slacken that off a little bit, but it's certainly seems to be stopping well, and very, you know, positive on the lever, so it feels pretty good, better than when I got it, because I think that was non-existent really, the front brakes. So that's done. Time to move on to the right rear. Then, and we have rear breakage now as well. So pretty much the same setup. You got your braking arm here, follow the rod all the way here, where it attaches to the brake pedal, and one spring for a return spring, one for the brake light switch. That from earlier, and it's kind of quite hard to do it, but I've set it so it just starts. Let's see if I can do this. No, I won't be able to do this one-handed, but so just yeah, quite sensitive on the brake. I can always fine-tune and adjust it, but yeah, we have brakes front and rear. So the other thing now, I've already started using, we had a split pin here. There's a split pin that holds this arm on as well. The other ones I've got are the front and rear axle bolts. They need split pins, so they're torqued down, so I'll put the split pins in there. And I think that might be it. I might get it off the stands and just yeah, give it a little push and a roll round. Right, so just a bit I'm going to have a look at now, just to probably won't get it done in this video, but just to finish up tonight, is the chain guard. That's the stock chain guard that came off it.
There's some metal kind of brackets that go on there which were riveted on, which way back when I drilled those off, cleaned them all up, so pretty rusty and manky, and then repainted them. So I've got those back there, but it's just kind of, I'm just going to start just kind of working out. So obviously you see that on there, and that is just massive and ugly and huge, and I hate it. So I'm just going to start trying to work out where I can chop and what I can get away with, maybe what sort of designs to go in there. It's just to make it a bit nicer, and I believe I'm correct in thinking it's a MOT requirement, certainly in this country, so it's there if we need to put it on. But I've cleaned all the gunk and years worth of chain lube on it, so I think the first thing to do is probably re-rivet the metal pieces back on and see what we can get away with chopping. So bolted on, pretty, I mean it is what it is, it's just a big hunk of plastic in it really. I think we can afford to lose some of this here. Now it's kind of just, I'm trying to just chop it down to keep the, you know, at the end of the day it's not a high powered bike, this is just a thin plastic, you know, thing, so just a little bit for safety kind of consideration, but I think we can afford to chop a fair chunk of this out, maybe drill some holes in it to kind of just break it up a little bit. It's just a bit too heavy there now with all the expanse of everything else, and as I say, this is largely on there for the MOT purposes, but yeah, I think what I'm probably going to do is just kind of have a bit of a look, maybe get the old white marker pen out and just sketch and eyeball a few bits. But it is getting on a bit tonight. I think I'll probably call it a day there. Done some more bits. I will need to get all this uploaded and edited. But no, we've got the brakes on, the chain guards reassembled, although needs modding. Footrests, brakes, gear lever. So slowly but surely we're getting there. I'm hoping before the end of the week to have the rear light in, and we can work on getting the side mount kind of sorted out, and it's getting really close now. Carb's also off as well, so I'll be starting to look at the jets at that at some point. And I need to do a bit more research on that. I need to take the current jets out because I'm not even sure what the stock sizes are. But we'll have a look. But there we go. That's the little updates for now. So thanks for watching again. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, ride safe, and I'll see you very soon.